He's Frank Vogel, Pacers head coach. Big win last night against the Miami Heat. Is it a big win to you, Coach? Because on the outside looking in, we would view it as that's an important win, even though it's December.
Well, yeah, I think it is an important win. But our sort of mindset this year is that, the Miami Heat are a great team, obviously capable of winning 26 in a row, winning 66 games. So, to achieve what we're trying to achieve in terms of home court advantage, it's going to take great regular season achievement. So, every single night that we've played all year, whether we're playing, at Utah or home against Charlotte or whoever we're playing against, we feel like we're competing for that home court advantage. So, last night was a big win, but also because of the head-to-head possibilities as well.
What do you must have to beat the Heat?
You got to have a lot of things. You got to have offensive execution. You got to have perimeter defenders, obviously rim protectors. You got to have a great defense, and you got to have a great offensive passing mindset and the ability to shoot the basketball from the perimeter. But there's you need a lot to beat the Miami Heat, that's for sure.
But you guys have the style. I mentioned that it's about confidence. When I look at your team, I just want to see them confident to stand up to the Miami Heat because you've proven you can play with them. But when there's that big moment, I haven't seen that with your team. And that's why I was watching last night. And I like the fact that, I got George and I got Hibbert and I got West and I got guys who are not afraid of them. And maybe afraid is not the fair description there, but you're not intimidated by them. And you probably look at your team and say, look, we'll go toe-to-toe with them any night of the week. Whereas maybe 2 years ago, maybe you don't say that.
Well, I think there's been a maturity with our team. We're a very young team in terms of, you look at our wings being, fourth-year players, Paul George and Lance Stevenson, and, their roles have just grown dramatically even in the last year and a half. So hopefully, the experience differential for what those guys have been able to grow, as well as, my system and this core being together, another year, hopefully that's a difference maker.
Who's more of a surprise to you, Hibbert or George?
It's a tough question. I think we've always had a great deal of belief in both of them, but, to see them, both reaching this level, maybe even exceeded our own lofty expectations. It's tough to say which of the two is more surprising, but the numbers that Paul George is putting up offensively, maybe the biggest surprise.
Well, and I mentioned this the other day that I've moved him in. I mean, he's a top 10 player and wants to be in that top 5. That's what I love about him. It seems like he's hungry to be great. Hibbert, I think you're not quite sure of big men in the NBA and how they fit in, but that presence, having that guy who's not afraid to do the dirty work, I'm not surprised at. George wasn't even first-team all-conference, I don't think, coming out of college. So he's the big surprise there, and certainly offensively.
Yeah, no question. And, you have to credit his work ethic and his hunger. You don't know when you're drafting players. You can talk to their college coaches and see what their work ethic is like and whatnot, but it's almost impossible to really predict a player's internal fire and their ability to improve year to year and what their ceiling is going to be like. And we kind of feel like we hit the lottery with these two players, with Paul George and with Roy Hibbert, in terms of their commitment to the team winning, the team concept, and individual improvement. It's just been, something that I think is impossible to predict.
He's Frank Vogel, the Pacers head coach, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. After the game is over, when do you hear that Justin Timberlake is on the floor shooting hoops?
Well, we were walking out, and we heard he was on there, and we said, well, let's go see what he's up to. So we went out there and said hello.
What'd you think? What kind of shot did he have?
Oh, he did a great shot. He was automatic.
Automatic.
He was automatic. I don't think he missed a shot the whole time. I mean, this guy can shoot the basketball.
Who would you compare him to?
Oh, let's see. Well, I think you got to compare him to That's a tough call. There's a lot of white shooters in the league, right? Steve Nash, Steve Blake,
Wait,
like
he's
that.
not a Steph Curry?
No, I don't know if he's glad on Steph Curry because I'm pretty sure nobody on earth is quite like Steph Curry.
Is he the best? When you look at pure shooting, and I've said this, that if you have kids and they're learning to shoot, have them watch Ray Allen with how he shoots his jumper. Steph Curry's his release, his form. Is there a better model to use to teach somebody how to shoot a jumper than Steph Curry?
I really don't think there is. And, to me, like the difference between Ray Allen and Steph Curry is, Steph can elevate, into a jump shot. Ray Allen will get a foot off the ground with his vertical jump before his release. And not everybody has the physical ability to do that. Steph Curry has a release that, I think you can teach children. And that is just about as textbook as I've ever seen. And it's just his ability to get it off with the speed that he gets it off is what I think separates him even more.
What about your job's at stake, and it's Larry Bird or Steph Curry or Reggie Miller? Who you got? You got to pick one with your job at stake.
Larry Bird. Are you kidding?
Would you take? How would Bird do right now if I just brought him out on the court and I said, "All right, Larry, shoot 15 threes"?
You'd probably make 13 at least, maybe 15. Some things don't leave you.
Yeah, and plus he's so cocky. I could just see him walking out there going, "Oh, come here. Well, who's playing for second here? I got Paul. Come on over here." Right? Bird would want to take on that challenge.
He's very confident.
Well, so's your team, and you certainly see that. Congrats on the win, and thanks for joining us, Coach.
All right, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that's Frank Vogel, Pacers head coach.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.